Well, this is potentially the opportunity we've been waiting for. If we win the two Champions League games that we're favourites for today, then we could be in the top 8 and get a straight bypass to the final 16 round. If we do that, we are one win from history, and in our final season, it would be a lovely moment. Oh, we've also been on a bargain hunt again. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 182 of this Build a Nation story, Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. We are back today as our final season continues and our European run looks more promising than ever. Today it's a Champions League doubleheader away at Legia Warsaw and Bodo Glimt to finish off the league phase. If we win it or even get 4 points out of it, we should be in the top 8 and get a bypass to the last 16. We've got a couple of players that can't be registered for this one. We've got Ryan Leary, the superstar, in at the club now. And also another new signing. This time, a young star from Barcelona. If you're looking forward to meeting them and seeing which of our backup team Linfield have stolen this window, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. I mean, all the other sides are doing awfully in terms of domestic form. But for now, we've just got to focus on what can be done at Distillery. We're going to start with transfer news because that has been the most important since we were last here. We have had some ins, some outs, a few players who have pre-agreed to leave, and for the first time, we're starting to get players who are really throwing their toys out the pram and probably are going to force their way out the club, which might be a problem for those of you taking on the save. But let's go and have a look at the transfer history first because there were 2 pre-agreed signings that you knew about already, one more cheap addition from Barcelona, who we paid a little fee for to stop him getting to the end of his contract. And we've also lost a couple of first teamers as well. So first of all, we'll come back to Paddy Hamilton because we know he's gone back to Galway on loan for the year. We'll meet him again in a minute. Eamon Caulfield was out of contract, a youngster. He's moved on to Larne permanently. But Linfield have chosen to take 2 more of our backup players. One, a young star for the future, and one, a backup keeper who will help them with their homegrown quota. John McDade, while I didn't want to lose him, he is homegrown in a nation for the domestic campaign. 1.6 million for a backup goalkeeper who we paid 450 grand for. It just seemed too good to refuse again. He's into his 30s. He's their first choice because they had an issue with Shane Davis, who is their former keeper. So he's going to go in there and just be a solid number 1 for them for the rest of the year. Does also mean we can now pick him for the Northern Ireland squads again and not worry about losing our backup keeper. The problem I've got with this one is I tried to sign the new Northern Ireland number 1 who had taken a spot from Morgan Hassin and he rejected us to go to Barcelona. So we're still on the hunt for a backup keeper at the minute and an injury to our first choice keeper today is the only thing that could go wrong. The other one who left was Emmett McNair, who we couldn't loan out in the summer. He's played a fair few games for us this year off the bench, but he got the opportunity. He's a good youngster, but he's never going to reach first team level here. So to send Linfield someone where he's probably going to play a bit more for them, but more importantly, he'll help their homegrown quota in the future. It really is a good thing for us. And Linfield had a couple of stars in their youth intake last year, so might be one to keep an eye on in the next few seasons. He actually played 20 league games for us. That's not a bad effort at all. Frankie Huxley was the other one. He's a youngster who's not worth mentioning. But let's go and look at the 3 ends because we've got our record signing who you've already met, a young star defender who you've already met, and one man who is a mystery. Let's go and look at the 3 of them. Paddy Hamilton is in from Galway United, a very good young defender, a centre-half and a right-back. Probably better suited to being a full-back based on his attributes. Maybe not the best going forward, but an under-21 international for Ireland and playing top-tier football at this age will not be a bad thing for him. So good luck to him for the rest of the season. If you take on this save after, you'll get to see him in action and he will become homegrown at the club too. So will Ryan Leary, who is without doubt the best signing of the save. As it turns out, he's not the final signing of it, but what a player he is. A striker, a winger, an attacking midfielder. I mean, he's got the lot. He's an 18-year-old from Manchester City who has got bundles of ability. I mean, you can see already he's made 6 appearances, scored 2, assisted 3. It's been brilliant. And the fact he's made 7 league appearances for Man City, the fact that his only real weakness is natural fitness, which we've already got him working on. I mean, he's going to be a star. It's just a real shame for us that we couldn't do that deal maybe 2 years earlier. The other man that comes in, though, is another wide player, and that's because if we go over to our release screen, in addition to Emmett McNair moving on, we also lost Johnny Maraval Austin. At the end of his contract, decided to leave, has now gone to Almeria in Spain, where, to be fair, he's going to get an opportunity to be a star and earn big money, so fair play to him. He deserves a mention because he scored 1 and 2 for us, nearly 150 league games, some big European goals. Been a real quality player, but the last couple of years he'd had a lot of injuries, he'd declined a bit, and it just wasn't worth keeping him with these stars coming in. And it also allowed us to sign Maxinio Becerra from Barcelona, a 700 grand striker who can play off the left and right, which is where I'm going to prioritise playing him because he's not a good enough finisher for me up front. But look at his attributes and where the balance is. He's a great leader, he's determined with a good personality, he's got great technique, loves a long shot, is very good physically, and more importantly, look at those key mental attributes for a creative player. Flair, anticipation, composure, decisions, all top notch. Not sure about him being a covering centre half, but for the rest of it, what a superstar. Really excited to have him here. Mexican international. He's going to be very good, I've no doubt in that. He has played in the UK before with Leicester on loan from Barcelona, where he's also played some senior football, so not a bad deal at all. We could have risked trying to get him at the end of his contract, but I just thought it was better to get him for the money while we could. Hardly a big fee, is it? Let's go and have a look at the squad though, because it's not all good news, it's not all roses and sunshine here. There are a few players who are pushing their way out. So Hector Schweb, who is our backup centre half, a wonder kid, but not as good as the two ahead of him. He has decided that he wants to potentially leave at the end of his contract, but I think we'll probably sell him if the right price comes, because on the money he's on, he's not really earning it. He's getting more than both of the starting centre halves, and his interest from clubs such as Arsenal, Bayern Munich, etc. If the offers keep getting bigger, then we'll let him go. The same probably applies to Ricardo Rauja, who again is a little bit unhappy. And then the one I mentioned in the last episode, David Del Guidice, already thrown his toys out the pram. It was only November time, wants to leave to improve his chances of getting in the national setup. But the benefit with him is he's still got the best part of 3 years on his contract. So you've probably got a chance to win him round and probably 2 years still to get brilliant money for him. When you consider he was signed for free as well, you can't really lose, even if you keep him for 2 more years. The rest of the squad getting loads of offers, but for now, mostly staying happy, mostly content at the club. Goran Puric and Diego Rodriguez are a little unhappy, but they're the ones that should resolve themselves soon. And you can see that bar maybe Rauha and Schweb, and Cameron Thompson, who's a backup player anyway, everyone else has got 2 years or more on their contract, so not really any concerns with that. Let's go and move on to the schedule though, see how we've been getting on. We have won every game bar one in the league, where you can see we were frustrated at Lahm for the second time this year. You were with me for the Spurs game. We've had none in Europe since, but we did beat Linfield in a couple of big cup games. We battered them in the league in that 3-game week. And since then, we've actually been keeping a good run of clean sheets, albeit against pretty poor opposition most of this month. But now is the 2 big ones in a Champions League, Legia and Bodo Glimt to seal a top 8 place. And with that, we skip around in a Champions League and have a great chance at making history. The first 2 domestic cup finals of the season are against Linfield and Lahm, so hopefully we can continue our progress to the clean sweep. But it's all about Europe now, and in addition to those who aren't available to be registered today, we've got a lot of injuries out wide. Rauha, Rivera, Rodriguez, all out. McNair's now left, and of course, Johnny Maraval Austin has gone too. So it does leave us a little light out wide, but we will be okay. Let's go and have a look at our team for today, and very quickly, how the other teams are getting on too. Because Linfield have done a really good job. They managed to get a result against Kukariki away from home. And Lahm, yes, they lost 3-1 at Bilbao, but have done really well until their last 2 games. So if they can get one result from the last 2 matches, the Europa League should look pretty good for both. Lahm are 20th, Linfield are up in 5th, and they look like they might reach the top 8. Lahm, we just need one more win, and they should be all right. If we move to the Europa Conference League and Coleraine, they have had a really good campaign as well. Unbeaten in the first 3 with a couple of frustrating draws, but a win against HB, a really good draw at Utrecht, and a big win late on in their final group game as well. That means Coleraine got through in 15th place. They were unbeaten. They've got a home draw in a knockout round. they're going to hopefully have a chance at a run, especially when you consider that some of the stronger teams in the competition are either in that group of 9th to 16th with them, who they avoid, and some missed out completely, particularly Rangers and Groningen, a really big surprise. So that's how the Europa Conference League looks, but we're focused on the Champions League. It is Legia Warsaw v Lisburn Distillery. We're sticking with a back four for this one, and this is the team that we have gone for. A few changes out wide, but Paleka, thankfully, just back from injury to make an appearance today. Del Guadice is going to have to be our wide option on the bench. Rauha is there, even though he's not really fit, but the rest of the team is first choice, so we're not too depleted, really. It is Ekon in goal, Azier and Freeman the fullbacks with O'Donnell and Puric centre-half, Sinta and Montero the midfield two, Ademir Belikci the number 10, and then Paleka and Zheng out wide, with Hendry up front. And I should mention that the World Young Footballer of the Year award this time, or the European Golden Boy, I can't remember which it was, has gone to Diego Rodriguez. He is a bit of a superstar. He looks like he's going to make it to the top, and maybe he'll be that world-class player that we've created from within. Not bad for a free agent signing. Let's go and see which competition it was he did win. Yeah, European Golden Boy 2041. So let's go and get through to our first game tonight. Legia Warsaw away, and a win probably puts us in the top 8. Well, where we've been facing a lot of the big sides in the Champions League, we've not really encountered the two glitches, have we? Now, the Polish League is one of those that I think still isn't loaded, in fairness. Won't be a problem in FM24, but for now, it means no manager and no full subs bench either. However, this is a club that keeps bringing through brilliant players. They've got one of their stars not available today, who we've been trying to sign a while. They also had that Adam Becker, the right winger, who ended up at Manchester City after rejecting us. But they've got 3 or 4 top youngsters at all times, so definitely a side to watch out for. No idea what standard the grayed out players are, but let's get through the tunnel interview, through the Champions League music, and into the first half highlights away in Poland. Well, not too long on the clock, just 4.5 minutes, and we're back, camped in the Legia half with a throw-in. It's been worked into the middle to Montero, who goes for the big switch, headed away, and Zheng is able to get there. Maybe not the first name on the team sheet, Zheng, but great model professional, brilliant in the mentoring group, and electric quick as well. Definitely offers a threat away in Europe. As Ademir Belikci, oh, one of the best young players in the world. And let me tell you this from next season. If you're taking on this save, you've got an attacking midfield 3 of Rodriguez, Belikci, and either Del Guadice or now Ryan Leary. You have got probably the best attacking midfield of young stars in Europe. All under 21. All could stick with you for 10 years and take you to the top. And you just need to build a bit around it. As Gora gets in, poor defending, but Ekon makes amends. Freeman didn't track his runner. O'Donnell got lost in the mix there. But we get away with it. And with 1 goal at the advantage already, we can just try and hit them on the counter. And here they go back to their goalkeeper. Big kick downfield. Freeman should get there. Doesn't. Allows them to bring it down, but Xavier recovers. And Paleka, about the only fresh legs in the team. Most of these boys have played about 20 games in the last 2 months. Paleka has been sat on the sidelines for 5 weeks. Ademir Belikci, though, is playing like he's fresh and raring to go. 2 goals in 20 minutes. He's a big game player. He's stepping up to the big occasion. And he's begging me to keep this formation because he wants to stay in a Champions League team. Maybe not developed as much attribute-wise as we would have liked. But God, he's a superstar. What a player. Well, 10 minutes to the break. We've still got this comfortable lead, and now we're dominating from set pieces. Not on target with this one from O'Donnell, but over the bar it goes. He's arguably been overtaken by Puric now, which is some achievement from the other youngster. But 2 good centre-halves at this level. Maybe a little weaker at full-back and in goal, but Ekon is improving too. We asked the lads to keep it going. It's been a good performance, probably an efficient one. We've only actually had the 2 shots on target, but Legia have had nothing. As Paleka gets the ball on the right. Has support inside. Probably won't do 90 today, but he finds Xavier. Gets to the byline. Chance to cut back. Looks to the edge to Belikci on his hat-trick, but just over the bar. Maybe could have tried to nod it down there. We have got mercifully a week off after this, which we haven't had for a very long time. So I'm not as worried about fitness today. There's a few that will struggle. As Belikci puts it in. Penalty kick. And if we get it, Belikci's going to take it, isn't he? Hendry's the best penalty taker at the club. But it'll go to the man on a hat-trick. And if he can get it, do you know what? I'll get him off and rest him. Del Guadice can build his fitness again. And Belikci can get half an hour off. But, oh, he's at the outside of the post. It's a really poor penalty. Sent the keeper the wrong way. Had plenty of time to just pass it in. But he tried to be a bit too precise. And now he's absolutely knackered. I'm going to have to take him off. Belicci will be replaced by Del Guidice. And in fact, Paleka's struggling as well. So I'm going to take him off for Bayavang. We'll put Del Guidice wide. Montero's a bit tired, but not enough to be concerned. Timofeyev is 1 yellow from a suspension. I'm wondering whether I get him that card today if I can. Going to give it a go, I think. And then in midfield, I will go Montero off. We'll go for Gunders because he's just back from injury. We probably need to build him up some fitness ready for the last 16. We'll leave it at 4. I'll take O'Donnell off soon if I can. With 20 minutes to go, I don't want to risk changing the back 4 yet. Certainly not the centre half, sorry. Well, as we get to the final 10, if we can survive this free kick, as Timofeyev has got his yellow card. And it was probably for this free kick, which might end up costing us. To the back post, Puric away, only as far as the edge of the box. Gora shoots, is a great finish. He's a very good player as well. A wonderful goal. And a way back into the match, perhaps. Now, do we have to change the change we were going to make? Maybe it's going to be Xavier Sinter who's knackered. And we could bring on Halston instead. Just freshen up the legs in that midfield. We'll do that for now. 9 minutes to go. We are still on top. It's the only shot on target they've had. And it's a wonderful goal from distance. But as we head towards stoppage time, a 2-1 away win would not be a bad result. Here we are though, defending on the right-hand side. It could be problematic. Gora to the byline, deflects in. Great save from Ekon. I thought it was a penalty before, to be honest, but we got away with it. And with 4 minutes added on, we are trying our best to make sure we don't throw this away. It's not been a vintage performance again, but maybe I should actually be more pleased with that this year. We've not battered teams as often. We were narrowly winners against Marseille at home. We were narrowly beaten in a couple of games. But it's another away win. It's another performance that was good enough. And it's nice work. We are through to the second game against Bodo Glimt. And we should already have our top 8 place secured. Timofeyev got his suspension early enough, which is crucial for us. Oh, do you know what? We're not secured yet, because look at that. All the other sides up there are winning. There's a big gap in the middle. But 1 win away at Bodo Glimt, who at the moment have 4 points and sit 5th bottom. If we get that today after they lost 6-0 at Dortmund, we will be into the last 16. Let's skip ahead and see how we get on. Well, as we return for our final Champions League group game, it's been a good week for Northern Irish clubs in Europe. It's been another quiet one in a transfer window, with Coleraine signing 1 decent player, but that's about it. And it's also been an interesting one for us because we are on the verge now, after a few transfer windows of largely getting away with it, of having a full dressing room revolt. We've had probably 8 or 9 players who have come and said they're unhappy. We've got a lot of players who are getting offers from massive European clubs. And that's probably a positive. It's a sign that we're not far away when it comes to competing with the top sides in the elite of European football. But it is a worry for the short term. And I guess the positive is, if we get straight through to the last 16, we've got until March for some of them to end their unhappiness. But for now, let's go and get through to the second game tonight via a goalkeeper offer we've made, because we couldn't find the star we wanted. We couldn't find someone better than Ekon, which is the long-term aim. So I've basically gone for a like-for-like replacement with John McDade. Derry City have had this goalkeeper for a long time. He's been our number 2 with Northern Ireland, now the number 3. Philip Buchanan is 34 years of age. He's homegrown in the nation. He's a solid keeper, probably slightly better than McDade overall. And while he's declining quickly, just for now till the summer or to next winter, I feel like he's a good one to have along. So he'll be coming in as long as he accepts the offer, and he will replace John McDade. The one we missed out on to Barcelona was Kevin Bradford, who had been at Celtic before, and I can see why he rejected us now, because Barca, paying him 72 grand a week, would have been a good goalkeeper, a potential number 1 of the future, but not to be at the moment. So he will be going off to Spain, and we'll hopefully be getting Buchanan. Let's go and get through the inbox though, and into the second match of the night. A win here, remember, and we are in the top 8. And they've got a couple of good players here too. They've lost most of their star youngsters now. There's still a little bit of talent about. So let's get through the team selection. Timofeyev is suspended. I wouldn't expect too much else to change though. Back in a minute with the lineup. Well, it's 2 unhappy players in the wide areas as Del Guidice and Rodriguez replaced the 2 from last week in Jeng and Paleka. We've also got to note some unhappiness in defence, and the key one is Matthew Freeman, which Yes, it's disappointing. It's also not a worry because he's got 3 years left on his deal. But isn't it a great sign that for the first time in his save, a player from our youth academy is getting offers in the region of £10 million from Premier League sides? A brilliant effort for him and wonderful to see him doing well. Just a shame about the attitude. With those four in the lineup, including Puric, Bayavang now on the bench because everyone wants to go to Aberdeen for some reason, and Cameron Thompson as well. That is 6 players in the squad unhappy now. It's a bit of a concern at this point, but most of them are just unhappy with not getting a move. So as long as in the end those clubs stop showing interest, we should be able to tie them down again. At the moment though, I'm relatively happy with where we are. We've got a big game at Bodo Glimt. A win sees us straight through to the 16s. Fingers crossed we can finish in style. Let's go and see how we get on. Well, some real good players in this Bodo Glimt side who have got a star at left back in Albert Risa, who we've tried to sign before. Jacolis, a good young player too, and they've got a bigger bench, but still no manager in this one. So let's go and tell the lads to prove a point. A win here would see us into a really good position, and probably a top 8 place for the first time in our history. Let's go and see if we can achieve it. Well, straight from the kick-off we go with Declan Henry playing the ball back to Ademir. Big switch to Rodriguez would be one hell of a start this. Into the box he goes. There's 3 in the middle. Hendry's one, but it doesn't quite reach him. I was going to say while we're here, we are now back into our main stadium for our home ground. It has expanded to 10,500. All of the new capacity is seating as Ademir Bilicci shot is saved and Declan Henry passes in. 32 seconds on the clock. We had 2 chances on goal and the second one went in. The perfect start away in Norway as Xavier puts a corner in. O'Donnell up at the back stick and he heads it just wide. But yes, we are back at New Grosvenor Park. 10,500. Almost 5,000 of its seating now as well. It is at its maximum expansion capacity. It's a shame you can't request to move some of the terracing into seats to meet certain criteria. That's a feature I'd love to see in future. But overall, another improvement for the club. We've been getting 9 or 8,500 in the first couple of home games. So hopefully that will work out for you if you're carrying on the save. As Azier down the left finds Rodriguez, goes from distance, thunders the woodwork. The keeper had no chance. And eventually he just clears it long downfield. 20 minutes on the clock, we're 1-0 up. And you know what? We look really good here. But the same as the last game, if we don't put it to bed, we could end up with a grandstand finish. And here come Bodo Glimt from the left. Throwing is intercepted by O'Donnell and Bilicci will bring it away. What a star he's been in the last week. Cuts it inside to Hendry. Support on the right from Del Guidice. Free in the middle. Gets to the byline. In there is Rodriguez. And you know what? For 2 unhappy players, they've not done too badly there. One breaks down the right and gets the cross in, and the other poaching at the front post. 2-0, it should be game over, and it should be last 16. Here we come. It's a goal kick for Bodo Glimt downfield. Big building work starting outside for some reason. Hopefully you can't hear that in the background. As Del Guidice finds Matthew Freeman. He carries it over halfway. Support down the line, but he keeps going himself. Another unhappy player supposedly not showing in his performance, which is testament to their professionalism. Though Holland can bring it away here, and Bodo Glimt break clear, but Del Guidice fighting to win it back. Montero composed finds O'Donnell. Puric, another of the unhappy folk, out to Rodriguez and Azier. 3 running off him, he can't quite be found, but he wins it back straight away, Azier. Montero with the outside of the foot pass, Rodriguez in, and it's knocked away to the edge of the box. Out as far as Puric, who finds Xavier Sinter. And it's up to Del Guidice. On the edge, finds Ademir Bilicci. Caught out the keeper with a first-time shot. Low under his body. It's a fantastic finish. It's a brilliant performance. And we lead 3-0 away in Norway. Well, half-time, and it's already virtually game over. But this is such a historic moment for us in our final season. I know a few of you have alluded to it in the comments. We aren't far away now. And what a time to do it. You're going to be in for a treat if you take over this squad. We're up to 6th place at the minute. Unless we let in 3 goals, we're not going to be throwing that away. The goal difference is vastly superior because of that 7-0 against Sparta Prague. And even where we competed better against Milan and Chelsea, it means we've not lost as many goals there. As Bilicci finds Xavier Sinter. A 4th now, and we'll start making changes because this weekend we have got a game. As Xavier puts it over the bar. And with 20 minutes to go, I think we'll start resting people now. O'Donnell is going to come off with Puric switching sides. We'll bring on his unhappy teammate Schweb as centre-half. Montero's on a yellow and has no need to take a risk, so Bayavang will come on for him. Another of the unhappy folk. Rodriguez can have a rest because he's back from injury. He'll be replaced by Paleka or Zheng. We'll go for Paleka, build fitness again. I think we'll save the last two for a few more minutes because there's no need to make that many big changes. We'll rotate at the weekend if we need to, as Freeman's got a throw on the right to Ademir Bilici. Finds Xavier and Bayavang. Good football again. Up towards Hendry. Deflects to Del Guidice. The back pass was not well hit, but it got to its destination. And Puric should deal with that long ball forward, but he heads it straight back to them. Anderson taking on Matthew Freeman. Holds it up, but it only gets down the left wing. Bayavang flies into a challenge. We don't need the red card curse now. You're comfortable. Do not fly into one. Long ball forward to Freeman, who intercepts. Not the best clearance, but Schweb gets there. And now we can break away with Paleka. Finds Bilici. Over the top to Hendry, who's beaten the defender again. He's on the verge of becoming a world-class striker. It's his 45th of the year. He's been scoring more goals than ever in a Champions League. And Declan Hendry, for a man who we bought in with a bit of hope he could develop in a loan spell, he's reached his potential and now he's exceeding it. Bodo Glimt are in the box here. Hacks away downfield and Bilici has flicked it onto the middle of nowhere. Through ball forward is intercepted. And now Declan Hendry can break again. Holding it up, working backwards. Paleka finds Bayavang. Runners off him, but plays short to Puric. And now Freeman. Down the right is Del Guidice. Got to find him and does. Guidice's in. Chance to shoot. 5-0 at Bodo Glimt. Now we're looking like an elite side. Xavier is tired. He'll get a rest for Houston. And then we'll also make one other sub. Probably best to do Bilici. We'll bring on Zheng for him. Paleka onto the right. Zheng to the left, Del Guidice in the middle. Brilliant performance away in Europe, and the last 16 is definitely secured. Well, just 5 minutes remaining, and we return with Bodo Glimt in possession. The big thing for us now is keeping a clean sheet, and we might even add to our tally as Del Guidice drops in, finds Paleka on the right. He's got Hendry and Zheng in the middle. Zheng's up at the back stick. Really poor. He's not the best in the air, but he doesn't take advantage there. Nods it over an empty net. With a minute to go, we've got a free kick. It's a good position on the edge of the box. Del Guidice slants it in. Azier smashes the bottom of the woodwork. Brilliant effort. And it doesn't quite become 6, but I don't think I can complain too much about tonight. We make it 6 wins out of 8 for the first time in the Champions League. We get ourselves through straight to the last 16. And that means we go all the way to March before our next episode with a chance at history in Champions League football. Hopefully we can get one of the easier draws on paper. You can see the likes of Motherwell still in there. Villarreal haven't been great in his save. Marseille we've beaten already. But of course we could get one of those unlucky draws again. The likes of Bayern, Liverpool and Atletico all potentially waiting for us. Let's go and get through the confirmation messages though. Straight to the round of 16. 3.5 million into the club. Linfield and Lance set to follow. Coleraine already through in their competition. It's looking like a good final year. We are going to get all the way through to the round of 16, probably the second leg of it. And depending on who we're facing, we'll either come back for that, or maybe we can get lucky and go straight to a quarter final. If you want to stay up to date and find out, and you did enjoy this one, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of the performances, the signings that have gone in and out in January so far, and do you think we can make history in this final season? If you want to stay up to date and find out the answer, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. Hopefully the building work hasn't been too audible on this microphone. Apologies if you have heard any of it. But for now, a massive thank you for watching as always. You can find my FM24 plans up in the eye above. The beta's due out next week and we will be live with it straight away. We're also going to have plenty of live streams over on Twitch. You can find a link to that in the eye above. And check out our latest football podcast up there too. You can pre-order FM24 via the link at the top of the description. But thank you for watching as always. This final season is going well. Let's hope the player unrest does not destroy it. We'll be back next time to find out if it does.